Hello and welcome back to another FPL Game Week deadline stream. It's Game Week 29, the blank game week, just the 4 fixtures this game week, and we are free hitting, so I'll show you my current draft going into the deadline of 1:30 today, and also get in the live chat your free hit teams, and I'll answer any questions you've got in the live chat ahead of the deadline at 1:30. So make sure you smash a like on the video, leave a comment after the stream as well. Feedback and likes and comments are always appreciated, so if we can share the stream as well, tweet it out on Twitter or Instagram, that would be much appreciated. But let's get into double game week 28 and how it got on last week. So double game week 28, we scored 67 points, which, to be fair, I'm quite pleased with, because it was an 11th green arrow in a row, and we made the one transfer of Neto in for Dubravka, which, was a gain. Obviously, in the end, Neto finished on 4 points, Dubravka on the 2, so yeah, not too bad. Obviously, Bournemouth midfielders didn't do anything, so I'm glad I didn't go for a Tavernier or a Kluivert, but obviously Semenyo was the one, but I was never going to take out Solanke for him, nor was I going to take out Watkins ahead of that game for Villa. Villa have been in such good form, and even against Spurs, Watkins could have done something. And also, I wasn't going to take out Haaland because, yes, okay, he had Liverpool, but I want to have him, for 30 potentially if I don't wildcard, and he's just a lot of money tied up, and I don't want to lose that value. So yeah, until I bring in the forwards for the free hit, I just didn't think making a forward transfer was worth it. Obviously, Morris blanked in both games anyway, so yeah, it worked out okay. But yeah, game week, 67 points. Obviously, the back four, with Neto included, was not looking good for a long time. And then Neto, he at least played both games, but it was just the fact that she conceded 2 against Sheffield United and 3 against Luton was a real pain. Zabarnyi, though, what an absolute king. 3.3% owned around that. For double game week 28, and to get a goal against Luton was fantastic. Absolutely what double game week dreams are made of. Someone, doubts a Zabarnyi pick and says, he's not got any attacking threat. He pops up, proves the doubters wrong with a goal. So wonderful stuff there. Obviously, shame about the first game with that Sheffield United clean sheet wipeout, but still absolutely buzzing with that. Doherty 5-pointer. We know how good he is from an offensive point of view, and he did it yet again, despite conceding 4 goals, 5-pointer. Yeah, alright, let's just imagine he's only had 1 game there. But yeah, got the assist, and Gabriel, that was a shame because he got booked in that game for Arsenal, and obviously they conceded against Brentford, a terrible mistake by Ramsdale, but I kind of thought, Gabriel, play him over Saliba because set pieces, Arsenal could get something there, and yeah, he got just slightly less than Saliba, but just because of the yellow card, so I'm not too that bothered by that. I think going forward, having one of Gabriel Saliba is going to be important, maybe even 2, but obviously next week against Man City, that's a bit of a problem, so I'm not too bothered, obviously free hitting them out anyway, so I'll just keep on rolling with it, I think. Midfield, we've got Saka, who disappointed against Brentford. Yeah, didn't expect that, to be fair. I thought he would get something there. Arsenal did get frustrated for a long time in that game, but it was Declan Rice and Kai Havertz who were the ones to own the little differential picks there. So Saka's been very consistent recently, so I'm not going to be too disheartened by that. Pascal Gross was a big return for me, differential, 8.5% owned, I believe, something like that, 8.8%. But he got an 8-point return against Nottingham Forest. I was very pleased to not take him out because I was tempted, but he's an absolute bonus points magnet, and against Nottingham Forest, who this season have struggled defensively, it was probably a good shout to keep him in because Brighton were at home, and you felt that Brighton would do something, and obviously he's got assist potential, and bonus is just incredible with Pascal. Foden 2 points against Liverpool, frustrating, but it was a tight game. You kind of expected that, and Foden's delivered for me a lot the last few weeks, so I'm not too bothered about that. And then Son 17 points. Shame I didn't captain him, but great to have him. A few people didn't own him. The likes of FPL family Sam Bonfield and FPL Matt Day, who also is a Spurs fan, who went on the Former Temporary podcast this week. Crazy, really, that Spurs fans didn't bring him in. But yeah, he's been really good for me since I brought him in for Jota back in game week 27. So yeah, look, that's the transfer that's done well the last couple of weeks. And I'm also a bit unsure about my forwards at the moment. Solanke obviously, did get the return against Luton eventually. It was a fantastic goal, great touch, great finish. Just a shame about the missed penalty in the first game, but he didn't outscore Haaland, which is interesting. He actually got less, so triple captainers for Haaland won in that battle. And yeah, just the 9 potential 9 points, and then obviously missing the penalty meant it finished on 8. So yeah, not great at all. But still, it's a return, and it's not too bad at all. Haaland obviously blanked against Liverpool, and Watkins the same, blanked against Spurs. Yeah, bit of a frustrating one, that one, but still, he's been very good, Watkins, this season. So it's one of those things. Most people had players blanking this week, so Son and Gross were lovely, and then of course Zabarnyi was absolutely huge. Now, in terms of the bench, we had Areola with 2 points, Saliba with 2 points, Ake with 2 points, and Chang with 0. So, yeah, Hwang Yi-chan was on the bench because he's been out injured, but I'm free hitting this week because I've got just about 3 or 4 players. I think it's Watkins, Areola, and also Doughty. So it just doesn't make sense and Son, I suppose, 4 players, to not free hit. It would be pretty crazy because, to take a -4 to get me to 6 is just not quite enough. I think I'd want a -4 to get to 7 or 8. And I think, -8s, -12s, you start getting down a bad path. And I'm not convinced about Game Week 34's double because we don't know the fixtures yet. There might not even be great doubles for the teams, the likes of Palace, Man United, Newcastle. And I just don't see as much upside as playing it this week when I'll only have 4 players. So it makes sense for me to activate the free hit. So that's what I've done. So this is the team for the free hit then. For the blank Game Week 29. Flecken's in goal. Simple choice for me, I think, because to be honest, I don't see who else you'd go for. You could go for a Martinez at Villa, but I don't think Villa keep a clean sheet. Areola the same thing. I think that game's high scoring. Then you got the Luton keeper, Kaminsky. The Luton defensively this season have not been good. You look at maybe Vicario, but then you're going to want 3 other Spurs players. You could look at Leno for save points, but again, they get probably a few conceded in that Tottenham game. And then you look at Trafford again, save points, but you'd think Brentford would hit a few past Burnley. So Flecken is the most logical one if you narrow down all the options. It's not lovely because Flecken has been quite poor this season for clean sheets, but he has got save points. We know that. He did it really well against Man City recently, and I'm just hoping Burnley can carry on their bad home form. So Flecken is in there, and he's pretty much locked. It's as simple as that. It's been the easiest decision I've had this week, to be honest, which is funny because a lot of people have said leave your goalkeeper to the last decision on the free hit, but yeah, this week Flecken is the one for me. The back line then, we've got Reguilon, Porro and Doughty. These players are just so attacking that you just have them for their attacking upside, because I think clean sheets this season have been terrible, but especially this game week doesn't look like there'll be many. So I'm going to bank on Doughty, even though I've got Gibbs White in there, because I think Doughty's so attacking, you just have him, and even if Luton concede, he can get attacking returns at any point. Porro against Fulham, I did think about Destiny Udogie, but I think Porro is just more attacking in general, and Porro is just someone I'd be scared to not own in this blank game week, because he's so attacking, and Fulham can concede a few goals. Maybe a clean sheet would be nice as well. Reguilon against Burnley, he is confirmed to be looking good to start. There was a bit of a worry about him, so I thought about Roerslev or perhaps Nathan Collins, but I think Reguilon, he's going to probably start now, and he is the best attacking asset from Brentford. And I think if you're going to double up on one defence this week, I would do it for Brentford, because, as I mentioned, Burnley, they can be blunt at times. Fofana's not always on form, so I think, Forest, they'll probably score against Luton, I would imagine. So I would expect a Doughty clean sheet wipeout. So I wouldn't go for another Luton defender, or I wouldn't go for a Kaminsky in goal. And I wouldn't also go for a Forest defender, because I think Luton probably score. The same goes for Villa West Ham. And then, of course, I don't know who else you'd get. So Reguilon is the one for me. Midfield, Kudus against Villa, good fixture. Villa this season have been struggling, and Kudus is a nice differential. Talking of differentials, Region is currently around about 5% owned. Then you got Kudus, who's about 9%. So he's under 10% owned. I actually shouted out on my top 5 diffs this week, Mohamed Kudus. I think he's going to be a great asset. Not many people going for the double West Ham because they've got, a Bailey or a Doug Luiz. So yeah, I like it. I like the Kudus pick. I think he could be a great differential this week to boost the ranks because all our teams are looking the same. It's pretty boring, but this is the way of differentiating. Madison is in there. He's essential on a free hit, I think, against Fulham. Great fixture on set pieces, etc., etc. Captain on Son because, extra point for a goal, clean sheet, etc. And Son, he's just an elite FPL asset. Simple as that. Against Fulham, don't overthink this one. Bowen against Villa, yep. Great asset to own. I think he's an important one to pick because he's at home, talisman for West Ham, and Villa can cede a lot of goals, and he's going to be made better by Kudus as well. So they kind of help each other hand in hand. Hopefully one scores and one gets the assist for the other. Gibbs White against Luton. I've got Doughty in there, but I do think that having a Forest attacker this week, with the way that Luton defensively are this season, it's worth it because there'll be goals in that game, I think. I don't think Luton will get a clean sheet, but I also think Forest could, score a few of their own. And I think Gibbs White will be central to that. We know he's going to start, unlike maybe Alanga or Hudson-Odoi, and he's on pens as well. That's the added bonus of Morgan Gibbs White. And he's a very nice differential as well. Around about, I think, 5% owned, something like that. So, look, again, not a bad shout. And yeah, 3 differentials there. Region, Kudus, Gibbs White. Obviously, Region's popular among the Twitter community. A few Forest attackers are as well. But in the general scheme of the overall population of FPL managers, those are all 3 differentials that could really help boost my rank. Under 10% owned. Then the forwards, I've gone for Watkins and Tony. Pretty standard stuff. Because I just don't really have much inclination towards Carlton Morris, because I think Luton, they could score in that game, but I'd rather go for a midfield 5 because I think midfielders are where the points are this season, and I do think that it being Luton getting a penalty just relies on them having more chances in the box. I don't think that will happen. I think Forest are more likely to get a pen, hence I've gone Gibbs White, and Watkins is just essential, Tony's just essential, and vice captaincy is on Tony. I think it's got to be Son though this week. So yeah, that's my team this week. Pretty sure Watkins will start. If he doesn't, I've got it waiting in the wings, I should say. Rodrigo Muniz for Fulham, and yeah, I think he's a good shout. Obviously, I've got Porro there, so I do think that Spurs keep a clean sheet. But if not, then I've got Muniz to come in, which is nice. And then Soufal as well if Region doesn't start for whatever reason, but I'd be very surprised if that happened. And then Assignon for Burnley and Sells for Forest on the bench. So that's our free hit team locked in for game week 29. Get yours in the comments below, your teams, your moves, everything, strategies. I'll be really interested to see who are you captaining. Is it Son? Is it Tony? Or is it someone outside the box? I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye everyone, and good luck for game week 29.